episode of the Eureka Conservative Charlie Kirk Bible Read and Bob Rant, a place where we do read passages of the Bible in honour of Charlie Kirk, and where I get to have my rant about everything from politics to sport to whatever I feel I choose. Here we go. Just sharing, post this on a little rant to X because I've got to do it manually these days, which is rather annoying. And then I'll get you my ugly mug on the podcast. And there it is. Hello, everyone. Welcome to you from me and my boy JJ. There he is. Always saying hello. Hey, before he gets back up on his couch. There he goes, back up on his couch. And down. He's a funny dog. He's a smart dog. It's like speaking English to him. He knows exactly what I'm saying. As for our weather, yesterday was a very nice day. Today, not so. Typical Melbourne. We'll give you a quick look. That is what Port Phillip Bay looks like. Not really great. Bit wet, bit overcast. Was good this morning, but she's gone backwards ever since. That's across to the ranges. So it's overcast, wet, not windy, which is good. I got told it was supposed to be bucketing down later today. So it's 4 o'clock now. And so far, touch wood, hasn't really bucketed down yet. Slight rain, but that doesn't look promising over the bay, that's for sure. So anyway, let's get on with our Bible read. For those who were with me yesterday, there's only the one passage today. You're very lucky. So we are up to the 24th. Our last one was about the 10 commandments. This one's about the great commandment. Deuteronomy 6, 1 through the great commandment. Following another account of the 10 commandments, this passage teaches that our supreme responsibility is to love God. These are all the laws that Lord your God commanded me to teach you. Obey them in the land that you're about to enter and occupy. As long as you live, you and your descendants are to honor the Lord your God and obey all his laws that I'm giving you, so that you may live in that land a long time. Listen to them, people of Israel, and obey them. Then all will go well with you, and you will become a mighty nation and live in that rich and fertile land, just as the Lord, the God of our ancestors, has promised. Israel, remember this, the Lord and the Lord alone is our God. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your strength. Never forget these commands that I am giving you today. Teach them to your children. Repeat them when you are at home and when you are away, when you are resting and when you are working. Tie them on your arms and wear them on your foreheads as a reminder. Write them on the doorposts of your houses and on your gates. And that's it. So, interesting. I do find it interesting in the, I'm still on the biblical side, in all these debates you see on X, the latest one being between Tucker Carlson and Mike Huckabee. Tucker Carlson, he's like, it seems to be a lot of Yanks, but it's growing too here a bit in Australia, where people somehow self-appoint themselves as biblical scholars. Now, Tucker Carlson's no biblical scholar, but he tries to paint out that he is one. He's a Christian one. And he twists and turns. He takes bits of the Bible and twists it turns to favour his arguments. He hasn't studied the Bible. Anybody who's read the Bible or listened to scholars, whatever, I mean, I'm no scholar. I just read passages out. I've said this a few times now. And that is my tribute to Charlie Kirk. Compared to those people, my knowledge is minuscule. So I'm on this journey with those of you who may follow me and, tolerate me reading that passage of the Bible in honour of Charlie. And I think every time we read it, we get a little bit more knowledge. But there's people that commit their entire lives to studying it, to researching the history, to researching the ideology, the different faiths, the different all this, and they know it back to front. I'm not one of them. Neither is Tucker Carlson. Neither is probably 99% of the people you see on X who try and come out and slander the Catholic Church or slander a Protestant church or slander the Jews or slander Islam or whatever. Look, I'm not in a position to judge the Islamic faith because I don't know it. I am in a position to judge the people as best I can, and I've got to be careful as a Christian, by their actions of the Islamic people, what I see. Now, this is where I do disagree, though I support 100% with Pauline Hanson. I have met good Muslims. But my bitch with the good Muslims is they never speak out against the arsehole ones. Whereas good Christians will always speak out against the arsehole Christians. Always. Same with the Jews. They'll speak out against bad Jews. You've got a bunch of Jewish people that speak out against the Israeli government and Netanyahu. They can't stand him. So that's part of a liberal democracy. It doesn't matter your faith. Look, Elbo's a Catholic. I think Elbo's an arsehole. Elbo's a Marxist communist arsehole. He wears his Catholicism like a badge. Not that he believes in it. I mean, on Ramadan, he totally ignored Ash Wednesday, some Catholic. So, you know, and then people get stuck into people like Mark Wahlberg and even Marco Rubio, who had the Ash Wednesday cross on their forehead. Well, they're promoting the Catholicism. Compare that to Elbo, who's done nothing. I mean, Elbo's just, he's such an empty shell of a human being. He's such a, he's one of those people, and I try not to be this. I try to be a straight shooter, and unfortunately, I offend a lot of people when I do it. But so I only do it because I say what I think. And that's why I'm attracted to politicians who do the same. That's why I'm attracted to Trump. He says what he thinks. Why is that such a negative attribute? Pauline Hanson says what she thinks. Why is that such a negative attribute? I want to know what my politicians think, legitimately. Not what they say because some focus group has told them they've got to say this to get elected. I want to know what they're thinking, and so I can genuinely support them. Too many politicians. This is why I'll never join a political party. I'll never join One Nation. I'll never join the Liberals. I've said a couple of times I've made this mistake before, because Pauline Hanson at some stage will no longer be leading One Nation, will no longer be part of it. You know, age does that to us all. And then the next person will come in. You know, if you want an example, the Liberal Party of Menzies is now totally foreign to the Liberal Party of Angus Taylor. Totally different. Menzies would never have considered hate speech laws, ever. And here we are. So that's just one example. He would never have done the E-Safety Commission, I don't believe. And you've only got to look at the original values and beliefs, and I think, what is it, the Light on the Hill or whatever it was they called it, some of his speeches, read through them. He would roll in his grave at the current state of the Liberal Party today. So, you know, you've got to be constantly reviewing politicians, their policy, their ideology, because sooner or later they will drift. They'll drift away from you, and they will drift to what they think will keep them in power so they can keep a hold of all the rods. It's, you know, it's very rare you get a conviction politician. Extremely rare. And that's why they're held in such high esteem. So we'll see how Pauline Hanson goes, but she's certainly rattling their cages at the moment. The latest poll in New South Wales has them as the most popular popular political party ahead of the ALP. And Albo and all these people, they thought they're only taking votes off the Liberals. No, they're not. They're taking votes off any party that's, we all see it. After Bondi, whatever it was, we all see. It was there on full display. It was caught on cameras. It was caught on phones. The vision, it's just non-negotiable. You've got two Islamic men sitting on a bridge shooting rifles like it's a Turkish shoot at innocent civilians, innocent Australian civilians. I think that sent shockwaves through everybody. We're over the pro-Palestinian marches. I'm over a little bit the Israeli shit going on too, to be honest. I just want Australian issues resolved. I'm over a lot of the NSN stuff. I'm just sick to death of people dividing us. I put up a comment about Thomas Sewell yesterday on my Twitter feed. And I just put up there, and it was totally innocent. I disagree strongly with his ideology, which I'll explain in a moment for the sake of those who've been having a crack at me. So I put up a tweet. He actually told, pardon my French here, a female journalist, you know, she said something about his thing, and he basically ripped in saying, fuck you, basically told her to fuck off. Pardon my French. Just relaying the words, don't shoot the messenger. And I just found it really amusing that we finally had an individual that told a corporate journalist to fuck off. I loved it. Oh, he said what we all have been chafing at the bit to say to a corporate journalist. It was great. So I shared it. I'll get it up because it's been quite amazing, the response. I shared it yesterday, and the response has gone through the roof. I've just got to dig it up. It won't take long. But I did get, here it is. Let's share that. Sorry, this is where I put my ugly face up to the thing because of my short-sightedness. If you're younger than me, you'll understand one day as you get older. So there's my tweet. It's a pretty innocent tweet. Does it come up? No, it hasn't. Come on. I should have shared. Here we go. There it is. Sorry, my internet's a bit slow with this weather. I may disagree strongly with his ideology, which I do, but I ain't going to lie. Watching him telling a corporate media journalist to fuck off brought a smile to my face. Sometimes as simple as tweets get the biggest response. 130,000 views, 2,000 likes, 163 reposts, 200 odd comments. My notification box has been full. So it was pretty funny. You can find humor in the people you dislike. I mean, agree with. I do believe we're protecting our culture. I do believe we should place importance on white Australians. No issue with any of that at all. I do believe we should be protecting our heritage. Do I believe we should be judging people by their heritage and the colour of their skins? No, I don't. I just don't. I don't think we should be deporting people basically because we accuse them of being third world. Judge what's his name? Was it Martin Luther? I can't remember. The guy in America, Martin Luther King, I think that's it, said judge a person by the content of their character, not the colour of their skin. Some of the greatest words ever spoken. And if that person comes to this country and wants to embrace Aussie culture, and that's something we've never really politically or as a society addressed, identifying our Aussie culture. I have in my policy platform. It's not hard. If they embrace our way of life, our Aussie culture, our liberal democracy, and they're prepared to contribute to it through the way they work, paying their taxes, doing all that sort of stuff, and living peaceful and allowing others to live peacefully, then in my book, they're more than welcome. Now, should we welcome in numbers that we can't handle it? No, that's mass immigration. Should we welcome them in overwhelming what we would consider the Indigenous population? Now, when I say Indigenous, yes, that includes our Indigenous Aboriginals, but it also includes our Indigenous Anglo-European, Anglo-Saxon European heritage as well, who the Aborigines were here. The Indigenous, the first Australians, if you want to call them that rather than Aborigines, they were here, yes. Did they build this nation? Plenty of argument to say no. It was the Anglo-Saxons that landed here. Whatever you think they did right or wrong, they did far more right in my book than they did wrong. It was those people that brought our courts, our institutions, our science, our medicines, our cities, everything that's modern or was about this country, everything, our industry, all that all was brought by the British Empire. People can bitch and moan all they want about it. People can bitch and moan all about the history. They can tear down statues, whatever. It doesn't stop that history. If that happened, that's a fact. So that should all be protected. So as far as I'm concerned, the Indigenous Australians and the Aborigines and the Indigenous Australians and the Anglo-Saxon European people that came here and built this country, and I think a lot of the Aborigine population agrees with this, who have lived now side by side for hundreds of years, they should not be overwhelmed by mass immigration. Should we welcome immigration? Yes, we should. At certain levels, with people that we've identified that are going to complement our country and our way of life. I'm not for mass deportations. I'm not for a white Australia. And so this is dedicated to those people who keep going on about his ideology. So me and Thomas Sewell would disagree entirely on that subject. There's other parts we might agree. I don't agree with his racist overtones. I don't agree with him embracing Nazism. I don't agree with him embracing the Nazi signage, the Nazi cross or whatever he wants to call it. I don't agree with him embracing the Nazi salute. The Nazism is a vile ideology. Now, NSN guys come for me. That's all right. You can believe it's great. You can be totally ignorant of the historical facts of the crimes and the racism that produced that ideology and that our forefathers fought against. Now, so we would disagree. There's other parts that I would agree with Thomas Sewell. Even with the person you most vehemently disagree with, if you search hard enough, you will find points you can't agree with. This is all building to something. So, I would happily, and I've said this, I don't want to say it about Thomas Sewell. I don't want the guy going to jail, because the last time I said I'd happily have an NSN person on my program when I interesting Scott Challen, which was Joel Davis. He got put in jail, hasn't been out since. So I don't want to jinx anyone. I don't want to see that for Thomas Sewell unless he's harmed somebody, and he's been to court and out of court and in court, whatever. Is that lawfare? See, I'm a big believer in. I'm nearly as close to an absolutist on free speech as what you can get. I'm not quite 100%. I'd say I'm probably 98, 99%. There is some speech, I think, if you're being realistic, there's some speech. For example, if I threaten to kill someone or threaten to rape someone's daughter, that's not free speech. You shouldn't be able to say that sort of shit. If I incite violence against a group of people, that's not free speech. That's you inciting violence. So there's some who say you can say pretty much anything. There's some speech you shouldn't be able to say. But with me, it's very rare. So I would have those conversations. I'd be interested, actually. I'd be interested how they, people of that ilk, as long as they're sensible about it, how did they come to their beliefs? How did they come to their ideology? Are you prepared to listen to my arguments against yours? Now, so I can find a bit of humour in a person who I will disagree vehemently with about what he said. It doesn't seem people on the other side can do that. So they're polarised. They're indoctrinated that everyone's evil. No, we're all raised differently. We've all got different values. We all have different opinions. And can you discuss those opinions in a rational way to get some sort of unity? Albo can't. Many on his ALP front pitch can't. They're committed to this is what a lot of the people on the right don't understand. If you don't start uniting and get rid of differences that divide us on the right, you're just going to allow Albo and his mob of gangsters is what I call them, they're destroying Australian culture, values, integrity and history. They have no hesitation of bringing people into this country, the ISIS brides being a perfect example, that want to destroy our culture, that want to destroy our way of life and replace it with something else. They're openly saying that. And we even now have a royal commission that won't say the words radical Islam. So, they're in Times Square openly saying it. They're in London openly saying it. They're in France openly saying it. It is not hard to find the evidence. So why should anybody be, and that's not hate speech, that's just fact. I mean, it's fact. It's on X. It's all over the place. You can go and find a Muslim leader, a community leader, a teacher, a guy who just got sacked from a college, all saying the same thing. They want a caliphate that takes over. Basically, it's very similar to Nazi ideology. They want a caliphate that can take over the world where Islam, this is the worst of the Islams, that rule supreme, and they have their Sharia law where they want Sharia law because then they can oppress any person that objects to it. They can kill them, jail them, torture them, cut their hands off, do whatever they want to do, and then they'll reign supreme in their minds. But they won't, because they're all going to die. I'm going to die, and then we're going to face our real judgment. That's when it all gets scary for all of us. But many people just don't understand that. So you got to find some common ground. And Australians on the right have got to find some common ground to stop this, to get that flag back, to get our country back. So that leads me on to the Liberal Party. Liberals, this is my message to you, and I'll send this out to them. You're dead in the water. You're dead in the water. We're not listening to you anymore. I was willing to give you a chance. I was willing for you to change right up until you helped pass those hate speech laws. That was it. That was it. Because there was no mention of radical Islam, and those hate speech laws you could drive a truck through to actually oppress your political opposition. Anybody that spoke out against what you didn't identify as acceptable narrative. And I won't say they're opposition, because for the first time in my life, I'm wondering if there is a uniparty. I didn't really want to believe that until now. Still, there's side of me that doesn't. But I'll tell you what will confirm uniparty for me is if you bastards in any election put One Nation at the bottom of your preference card. If you do what Elbow's pleading with you to do, then you've sold us out entirely. You're another branch of the ALP. If you want our trust back, you will not do that. You will actually work in partnership with One Nation because you're in the same side of politics as them, and you will help defeat every ALP government in this country, even as a minor party of a centre-right coalition. At the moment, you are the minor party. Forget your houses and seats in Parliament, useless. You can't stop anything if the Greens and ALP get through, so it's pointless. The party that's polling the best in every state, nearly, and is now leading Labor in 2 states, in Victoria and in New South Wales, is One Nation. If this keeps going, and I have no doubt it will, they will be the senior partner of any centre-right coalition that you should form with them. And you should form it with them. No ifs, no buts, no hesitations. Failure to do that shows you're in cahoots with Elbow and the ALP. And then just write the death knell. You're dead in the water. You do that, you'll be under the water, and you'll be drowning. You'll be gone. We'll never see you ever again. So if Elbow dare, or the Australian Federal Police dare to charge Pauline Hanson and look to put her in jail, my God, Liberals, you'll be tainted as much as the ALP, because that will only occur because of the laws you helped put through. Said this yesterday, but now I'm talking about preferences. And the messaging coming out of the Liberal Party is a bit of a concern. So where do you stand, Liberals? Where do you stand, Nationals? Matt Canavan, where do you stand? You've been poking the bear a little bit with your digs at One Nation. Maybe you should just find some common ground with One Nation. And there's plenty of common ground. They're all for coal. You're all for coal. They're all for nuclear. You're all for nuclear. They're against the woke ideology in our school. You're against the woke ideology in our school. What is it that you've got against? They're against mass immigration. Apparently you're against mass immigration. What is it that's a bugbear with you? You accused them of being a protest party. I got on their website the other day. They have plenty of policies, more than you guys. So why are they a protest party instead of a party of government? You guys could facilitate a partnership where you could bring in the experience that One Nation will badly need when they become the senior partner in a coalition government between you guys, the Liberals and Nationals. I don't think you've read the mood. You're no longer a party of government. The LNP now cannot win government. The only way you get on the front bench is if you form as a junior partner, a coalition with One Nation. That's where it's going, boys and girls. And you don't understand that. And the more you push against One Nation, the more you push against Pauline Hanson, the more you push for this continued mass immigration into our country, the more you're going to lose votes. And the more you're going to pump eyes up of One Nation. You've lost people permanently now. You've lost me, I would say, permanently, in some miracle. And you would have to flip 180 on a number of fronts. Get out of the Paris Agreement. Revoke the E-Safety Commission. Revoke the hate speech laws. Revoke 18C. Make a commitment to just cut our bureaucracy and to get rid of our debt. There are so many things that you've been too gutless to address, even when you're in government, because, it might cost us votes and seats. Your precious seats, your precious votes. you're going to lose them anyway. Come to the fact you're in trouble, and the only salvation you've got is one nation. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. The only salvation for any sort of political future for the Liberal National Party coalition is Pauline Hanson and One Nation. So you better stop bitching about it, come to terms with that, and start maybe reaching out and come to some sort of partnership, some sort of agreement, and especially in Victoria before the Victorian election, and in South Australia it's urgent. If you put One Nation last, that will be a stain that will lose you even more voters. You'll be as dead in the water as the West Australian Liberal Party is. And it's as good as extinct as you're ever going to get. So I hope you all watch this. I hope people will share this to their Liberal and National Party senators, because my advice is to not reach across the aisle. You're on the same side of the aisle, technically. And if you're going to lose moderates, lose them. Moderates are Labor light. They're of the left. They're not of the right. If they can't come to terms with where the party sits, lose them. That's it for me. That's my rant. All right. God bless you. God bless your kids. God bless your grandkids. God bless your pets. God bless that flag. God bless our country. And go One Nation. Go Pauline. Keep shoving it up them. That's what I say. See you, everyone. See you tomorrow. Bye.